This year is definitely the toughest lineup that there's ever been.
Fantastic players, top to bottom.
I don't think there's any easy lineup in the Premier League.
I mean, everyone thinks they're the best.
It's definitely a unique structure.
It's unlike any other form of poker.
You only have to beat 11 other degenerates.
It's about winning as many points as possible.
There's a lot of money on the table.
It really is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
I enjoy the challenge. I'm ready for that.
Premier League, bring it on.
Season 7 of the Party Poker Premier League is sure to be as competitive as ever. The Playground Poker Club in Montreal is our host, which has welcomed the stars of the show, 12 pros at the top of their game, competing for points in one of the most unique events in poker. Here's what's happened so far with Jesse May.
Last time, the players descended on the Playground Poker Club for the start of Heat 1.
Obviously, you always want what you can't have, and so there's a lot of poker players that want to play this that can't.
I feel I've had the experience of playing this several times now that I really have a good grasp of it and hope that'll be a nice advantage. It's kind of cool because you're never, until the very end, you're never going to be completely out of it.
Antonio Esfandiari was the early mover, his aggression and willingness to play pots earning himself the chip lead.
Mr. Rastinator.
I liked my hand until you started talking.
Scott Seaver, on the other hand, found himself in some difficult spots which ended badly, eventually losing a flip to Jeff Gross, eliminating him in 8th spot with the bagel.
It's always painful to lose regardless of anything else, but try my best and I'll get back at it.
Here are the chips. Esfandiari and Gross leading the way for the maximum 14 points, whilst Mizzi and Rast are the low stacks desperate for a double-up. 7 players, all guaranteed at least 1 league point here in Heat 1. The Playground Poker Club here in Montreal is buzzing, and I'm joined by Phil Laak. Blinds are 3 and 6,000, so it isn't alarm bells yet for our low stacks, but they will be hoping to accumulate chips early on to mount a challenge.
One big blind. It's pretty big.
Yep.
It's on me, right?
That's the queen versus you having a jack.
Now checking. Is it on me, right? He's not going to get that penalty now. I love that there's a penalty established,
Seat 6 raise, 14,000.
I don't think it's either.
14,000.
Rast, we can only see one card.
Yep. Yeah, I know. So just watch the cards.
Now, Koon has A7 spades. I think this is an easy call.
Your card's got to be in front of the line.
Coleman folded the 6 of hearts.
Your card's got to be in front of the line.
Fold. There's a lot of people that like that for him.
Can't be slightly on.
Rast has the king.
And you got to separate them.
Granted, he's raised this quite early, hasn't he? He's picked.
This is,
picked Esfandiari's big blind.
I don't know. I think you can keep waiting.
2 cards
I mean, really.
Especially on the chip leader's big blind.
I don't like this play that much.
Even though I really thought it was.
And he's about to get hammered.
He's in a pickle. Yeah, he's totally in a pickle.
Obviously.
So Esfandiari's got a few options about how he wants to play this. I mean, standard you would just sort of check call through, but he could actually jam here, being he's got so many chips against a short stack.
Yeah, he's not really that worried. He knows he's going to the end of the hand. He's trying to get to the end. He's trying to get all the chips in.
If he does jam, he gets called by a bunch of hands that he actually beats. So I mean, jamming is not terrible, is it?
Right. I mean, he might do it. And it makes all the draws pay. If you happen to have a 10-8
Seat 4 raise, 50,000.
Completely fine. Get it all in.
No, sorry, 41,000.
The problem for Rast is.
Yeah, so I was like.
Rast might have to call.
I mean, he's probably right now. He knows he's either crushed or flipping, right?
Yeah, he's crushed or flipping. He's against some kind of ace-8 of hearts hand, or he might be against queen. He has to call. I think he has to get. Is he called?
He's called.
I think
he may be thinking to get it in on.
Now it's all going in. It doesn't matter. I mean, Antonio might feel he's too strong for bet, but
it's kind of a great card for Rast in the sense it gives him a lot more outs for the split.
Yeah, any queen 3 for a split or a 4 for the win.
Yeah, ace will split it.
Ace, sorry. Yeah, tonight.
I'm surprised he called.
I think Rast is going to. I mean, Antonio has to bet here. It's whatever. This is just
Seat
a
4
whatever.
bet, 41,000.
It's going to be 6-handed.
But this is why you don't raise with king 4, guys. You just when under the gun +1, you just don't want to be going in that with.
Seat 6,
It
raise
feels
all
a
in.
bit impatient
Call.
from Rast, doesn't it? Not now, but earlier, and he may be made to pay. Is he going to be walking out of here with just 1 point? And it's a split.
chop! Look at that!
Split.
Chop it.
That's right.
That's the Rastinator.
Rast wishes he hadn't played that game.
Well, he really got out of a jam there, didn't he?
He really did. He got saved.
The Rastinator is the best quality hand. Taking on the Magician.
But I would like to say that from a sentimental perspective, when those hands happen, the power that you feel, like Rast right now feels like I might get top 2 or 3 of this thing right now. Because when that ace comes down, you're like, wow, I'm designed to be here.
Right. Antonio does know this town quite well. He's kind of one of the.
He knows all the restaurants, that's for
right,
sure.
but he's one of the guys in this poker room.
Seat 7,
he's
raise
really one of their
13,000.
premier players. He's kind of a little bit of an ambassador for this Playground Poker Club.
True.
Guys himself, Gavin Smith, and I think when you talk to those guys, of
He
course,
was the
Jeff
one that
Gross
brought,
as well.
he came up before any of us.
Yeah.
He came up on a lark, and then he said, you guys got to come, and we started all coming.
And poker players endorse a lot of things, but I feel like all the guys who endorse this Playground Poker Club, they're real believers in the product in a sense. I mean, this is a club that everyone feels great to lend their support to because they do things so well here.
Call.
Now we have, this is like poker. Okay, we've got ace 4, pocket 3, ace 9. And okay,
Check.
this is Daniel's time to have a set.
Check.
It's actually, I mean, it's going to sound like it doesn't make sense when I say this, but if I have ace 9 of diamonds and I see that flop, I kind of like that flop. I have runner flush draw and overcard. I have
Seat
runner
7,
straight
bet
draw.
22,000.
If I bet, they might fold big. There's all sorts of funny little things. You should feel like you're doing well on, that's.
Seat 5, call.
And Jungle is not really a guy who does a lot of check raising, so
he likes to flat with his big hands.
Yeah.
Wow. He does like to flat with his big hands. And Rast just gets out of the way. Rast bet the ace 4 spades.
Seat 5, check.
Now Jungle loves that card because he's thinking, well, my opponent might just have a king now. If he had overcards like King Jack. And Colman, of course, might.
But actually, for what we've seen of Jungle, is there a chance he might check the river as well? And just get super
Jungle
sneaky?
for sure might check this. He loves, there he did it. He did it. He did check. Wow. But he's definitely going to bet the river. He tries to get the chips from people by letting them kind of think he doesn't have much. Ace 9 might actually, I think ace 9 is going to, it looks like Jungle's going to call with like some 10. Like 9-10 or something. I think it's just time to fold. I mean, why did he call? Almanac's fast, huh? No Hollywood.
He just snap folded there, did he?
Yep. I mean,
he didn't have anything.
He didn't have anything, but he also thought, well, what my opponent calls, I'm done for the hand. Coleman has not gotten out of one. Coleman will make little stabs here and there, a very precise game. Everything's still sort of stable.
I think Seaver and Jungle is up there.
It's pretty good,
but I love Helmuth and
Gross still
anybody
lots
really.
of chips. Look at that room, it's filled up. That tournament's in full swing.
This has been time plus pressure, and is there any reason to assume that this heat is not going to continue
By the way, I want to
chip
say,
order? Yeah.
It's interesting. Gross folded pocket threes under the gun, and it's turning out to be a plus EV play. I mean, he's against multiple pairs behind him. It's boom, boom. Everyone's got it. You'll see soon that Koon has jacks as well. This is like the argument for. Sometimes there was a year or two in poker where I folded deuces through eights under the gun because I had set under set a few times in 1 year, and I was like, what is going on? So I said, that's it. It was eights versus jacks was my last.
Well, Jason Koon, they're obviously considering the 3-bet. Why do you think he chose to flat rather than 3-bet there? Or was it automatic? Is that an automatic decision for you?
For me, I'm flatting even as high as queen sometimes. when you get, if you raise with jacks and the guy repops it, you know,
how do you like your hand?
Yeah, sometimes you're just putting in money wrong at that point. Wow, no one hit. All the overcards in the world.
Tight fold.
Now Gross is happy with his pocket
Check.
folds.
Check.
One of those borderline opens under the gun.
He's still mumbling, that's true.
It's like, part of me is like, I run so hot in Montreal, how can I fold? But then I'm like, I'm just going to have that hand on King 10.
This is a straight read. This is not for jacks for value because he's not getting called. This is just straight turning his hand.
Well, and did you check out that he's done 75,000 into 55? I mean,
He's basically saying if you have ace 10,
rag, you can't call.
If you have ace 10 even, do you want to call it ace 10 there? No, not really. I don't. You know,
this looks like the first really out of the box move that Jason Koon has made. I mean, and he's right there. It's kind of creative with that idea, right?
You were going to win that, Mr. Koon.
Yeah.
A pot and a half size bet.
It's interesting.
If you had total air,
Oh, yeah. If you have ace 4,
then you're truly a sicko.
It piques the Jungleman's interest there.
Yeah, ace 6.
This is the Party Poker Premier League Season 7, and we're down to 7 players. Scott Seaver is out, and our former champion has had a disappointing start. He leaves with the bagel. That's 0 points. But there are still 3 matches remaining to turn things around in this unique league format. Let's head back to the table.
Premier League Poker 7.
I
Still
guess they
7
didn't
players
intend
here
in the beginning.
in the first heat. We've only lost Scott Seaver with the bagel, so all of these players guaranteed 1 league point at least.
See, they praised 14,000.
Koon under the gun has elected to pop it up, which is reasonable. King Jack. Although remember, in that first and second spot, you can fold a lot of hands. You can fold ace 10. You can fold King Jack. Do not be embarrassed by these. Then this is part of the reason. Somebody can wake up with the demon behind you. It's about 2% per person behind you to wake up with queens, kings, aces, or ace king. So with 7 people behind you, that's 14% somebody's going to pop with kings, queens, aces, or ace king. Never mind a lot of other hands. Like I'm not adding in jacks, queens, and tens. A lot of other real hands, you know. So, and this is terrible for
Seat 7 check.
This is exactly the problem that can happen when you play these vulnerable style hands, the hands that are subject to overcoding.
Right, and I mean Antonio diversified slightly by not 3-betting there.
Yep.
I guess you could say the reason he did it is to keep in the hands that he dominated, which he did, and now he's going to get the sweet rewards.
Yeah, I mean Koon cannot fold.
Seat 4 bet 23,000.
Oh, now this could save Koon. It looks like Colman's going to make some kind of move. This is going to save this. Oh wow, this saves. This saves Koon. Oh my lord, that's so insane. Look at that, because Koon can make an easy. Jason can make an easy fold here. Look at this.
You know, I've heard this weird. I've heard this weird theory that I never understood. But someone said, when a guy flats an under the gun raise, the one card he never has is a king in his hand. I wonder if that's why Colman's making. I mean, this is the kind of board where he's saying to himself, Esfandiari is so likely to have pocket pairs here.
If he has a king, it's a king 10. It's not an ace king, and he can't. It's not even a king queen. Perhaps it's not a hand that can take. It's not durable.
So Colman's got juked here because this is. I mean, this is kind of like a 3rd level setup here.
Yep, and now Jason Koon is very, I'm still considering that I suspect he's going to fold, and so I suspect this is actually going to turn out to be very favorable.
Right, his plan was to play this, let a guy hang himself.
His plan was first he wants to win the pot uncontested. When you raise with King Jack, that's your first thing. You want to just not have a flop. The second thing is when you hit a king, you want to check call a couple of bets and let the guy hang himself. And
there is a line of thought where he could easily have the best hand, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can think of what if I'm against 6-8 of hearts?
Right, and Esfandiari could be airballing it, and Colman could have a lot of.
Wow, and now this is interesting because if Koon decides that this is some kind of malarkey going on. Antonio will instant fold the ace king. I mean, I don't like. If I bet and a guy raises and another guy raises,
Yeah,
I'm
but if
tossing ace king away.
what can Koon represent by raising here?
Oh, you can't. Yeah, it's too. It's
so
too,
fishy.
He got
I mean, he
saved by
wouldn't
that
have a
raise.
set. I mean, he would
now it's
never
all different. Now it's different. Now Antonio, I don't think is gonna. I mean, this is trivial. I think Antonio. What are the stacks? It's 274. Antonio has to be prepared to get some chips in there. I think. I mean, doesn't he? There's too much of his opponent's range can just be like 5, 6 of hearts, 6, 8 of hearts, ace,
Right,
5
but
of hearts.
doesn't he also beat a bunch of value stuff here? I mean, you know, Colman could be check raising a lot of pocket pairs or
like king queen maybe. You think he's doing that with king queen?
Well,
I don't know. I don't.
Oh,
really,
right. You wouldn't check raise.
I don't
there.
think you're
So
check raising these
when
days.
you check raise, you either have way better or.
But
you're
Antonio
drawing.
knows that if it's not a bluff, this is the funny thing. If Colman's not bluffing, it's hard for ace king to be winning because non-bluff hands are king 4 of diamonds, pocket 3s. You know, it's the ace 2 of hearts that he's worried about.
Is this a strong enough move by Colman that he can actually win the pot here? No.
No, I don't think so because he's just walked into Antonio's top range. I mean, if Antonio wasn't at the top of his range, perhaps. I think this is definitely. Yeah, it looks like a re-raise. I think thematically re-raising is okay because, oh wait, what if he was a flat? Yeah, I think you kind of have to re-raise because if the guy's on a draw, you have to make him pay. Instant, no posturing, full call.
And Jason Koon got rescued there.
Super rescue.
Maybe. I just love this hat. It's like because it vents. Where were you? In the back. I don't know, it's just nice. I was in there.
I see your rank.
I thought you were coming. I think it was 22,000. I was in there. No problem.
Koon says Jason Koon, and he was.
Wow.
He was.
Colman just got tripped up by that flat.
It's hard for you to have a hand. Huh? How do you have a hand there when I have a hand? I'm gonna go with there's a good chance you might have the best hand. I think there's obviously a very good chance I had the best hand.
Seat 5 call.
I was the most honest person in that hand.
I think it's amazing that at this level Antonio can keep these guys guessing. I think. I mean, it was a.
No one's thinking he has ace king. I think they're thinking he had ace 5 of hearts or something. You know.
It just goes to show you how you can still trap guys even at the highest level. But you have to set a very different sort of trap.
It's so weird. The trap that he set was just by being in
having an ace king.
By slow playing a hand. It just worked. He was slow playing. It just worked.
It was a legitimate tank fold.
Seat 8 check.
So let's see how Gross plays this. He's winning, and there's not many cards that are bad for him in the future. It's ace of deuce.
Seat 2 check.
I think Jungle should fire this. I don't know. Where's Jungle is last to act? Yeah, I think.
Seat 5 check.
Oh, he's going for value. He's going to see it. I don't know. I would have maybe bet there.
So did Jeff Gross open this with a raise and then Jungle and Koon both flatted?
Yeah, and so Jungle flats with his big hands, and with his Jack 5 of hearts, he re-raises. You know?
C2 check.
And Jeff is getting,
C5
at this stage,
check.
it's super tricky. I mean, why would he check the second time with the queen?
I don't know. I mean, if he checked the second time, you might as well check the third time. You got one guy might try and steal. I don't know. I think you got to bet.
Is this time for one of Koon's pot and a half bets?
I don't think
Seat 8 bet 9,000.
No, he's bet
super,
8,000, sorry.
super. Maybe I'll get called by ace king kind of call. I mean, ace jack would call that.
I wonder if Jeff Gross has misread his hand.
No, not now.
He just looked down and thought, hold it, I have a queen. I thought it was king jack.
All right, I'm happy you called because I was.
Wow, and you know, listen to this Jason Koon, a beautiful bet. That was a blocker bet.
Yeah.
And if he had checked there, Jeff Gross bets.
Might bet more. And if Gross hadn't made a pair, he's getting called by the ace jack anyways, even Jungle admitted it.
Best hand I've ever seen you play, PBL. Back to you. I mean, you play that like a rock star, you know?
Sucks out the value of pocket 2s.
Sucked out the value of pocket 2s.
Sucked it up.
Jungle's supposed to, do
Jungle misses nothing. This is a game for the poker series.
Ace high, right?
Yeah, I had like literally the next best hand.
Yeah.
Third level in the books here, Phil. Have a look at the leaderboard.
I want to see Rast and Sorel double up, please, you know, because I want to see them in there playing more hands. Right now they're handcuffed. They can't do much. They have to wait, and no real poker player wants to wait.
Blinds now 4 and 8,000 with a 2K ante, and under the heading of the ratio of the ante to the big blind, this would be one of the stealing levels. You know, the ante is 1/4 of the big blind, Phil, and in some spots it's as high as 1/8
and 14. There's 26,000 out there in the pot.
You've got 16 to win 26.
Raised
That's
to 18,000. Full.
Now you're getting a price. This is interesting. Antonio's taking a strong line with his 5. Remember, he's under the gun +1. He has to fade 6 players that can wake up with real hands or wake up with moves. It's but he has played very snug, so that 5's his camouflage. People don't necessarily know this doesn't.
And is Colman playing with a little bit of fire here? I mean, he's
35,500.
You know, he's got a couple stocks under him.
Colman might know that Antonio's
37,000.
I mean, this is basically just my read is he opens too light.
You have greens?
Yeah.
230 to start the hand. How much? 230.
And is Jeff considering a move here? Well, I mean, he must be.
No, I believe
he's posturing.
He's always 100% folding. He's never, but he has to give the impression that you can't run over me, boys. I'm still in the game. It's sort of like it's a presence move. I'm here. I'm present. I'm making a tight fold kind of, you know, ace jack. I'm folding it. You know what I'm saying? If you just keep snap folding, people, the perception is, oh, maybe I don't exist. You know? King 10-5 would be the end of Colman.
I mean,
King 10 and a 5 would be.
Well, just from a.
Oh my God! So this is just like insane.
It feels like Colman's playing with a little bit of fire, but is he reserving, you know, 50 or 60,000 that he's saying, look, let me try and get myself back in it with this.
Yeah, with this
I'm not gonna bust myself here, but I'm gonna.
What do you do here when you flop the Stone Cold World? I guess you bet and pray your opponent has like King, Queen or something, right? I mean, that's what you do. Yeah. You can't check this. It's just too rare a moment.
27,000.
I don't think Antonio's going to try and get money here. That smacks his opponent's range, right? You know, when you bet and the guy raises you and the flop goes 9-jack, those are the cards that smack his range, you know? Let it go.
In the background, you can, of course, hear the tournament director for one of the bigger tournaments here at the Playground Poker Club. There's about, I think, 500-600 people in this room right now, all playing. Every table is full. As you said, there's another room about the same size of this next door. That's packed with cash games. There's the restaurant. They got some big games going here as well, right?
They do. In the middle, a fellow named Malibu has, it's a sense of a private game. It's not really private, anyone's playing them. And they're partitioned off sort of like Bobby's room at the Bellagio, where you have privacy, your own bathroom and stuff.
They call it what, Malibu Beach?
Malibu Beach, there's different chips and there's your own waitresses in there.
8,000. That's the fold.
He had me at private bathroom. That was
whatever. It's 6 feet from the table instead of like 6-minute walk, you know? You know, when you're trying to see every hand in a 12-hour session, it's nice when the toilet's like literally in the same room.
Raised to 17,000.
You don't have to miss any hands. So what's going on here is Rast under the gun +1.
He's only got 15 big blinds, Phil. I think he might go with this one.
Oh, he's definitely going with it.
Yeah.
I mean, he raised to get it in. The only thing that could maybe save him is if there's substantial action after him, like raise, call, you know, something like this. But
and this is now Colman's third 3-bet in 4 hands.
Yeah. Mizzi is in it. Oh, this could save Rast.
Wow.
If Mizzi commits with 7s, Rast will have an easy fold with 6s.
Well, Sorel's got to say to himself, I can fold here, and Rast gets it in quite often, right? So he's got a free shot at 2 points. I mean,
I think these are all. It's crazy, but you think? Am I going to let it out that I'm that much of a nit? I can see a line for folding the 7s easy here, and I can see a tough line, but a reasonable line for folding 6s. Am I too much of a nit? I mean, can Rast fold? It's right to fold, but we don't know. I'm seeing the hands. It's right there.
Yeah.
In over a million hands. Now, Esfandiari, you can't. This is next. But he has to think, if I call the 26, Rast might commit a stack.
Antonio's got an interesting spot
He's in
here.
a conundrum, because should he commit money, he's vulnerable to the action being repopped. Remember, if he was closing the action, it's a snap call, and Antonio knows it. But he knows if he commits this 26, could be more fire coming down the ring.
I wonder if he was swayed by the rule of 3. You know,
this is like the most terrible spot. I mean, you have? I guess it's like I
just don't think Brian Rast has come here tonight to raise fold 15 big blinds.
It's just such a nit fold. What would the math guys do? I mean, you're racing or you're dead, right? You're racing or you're dead. Maybe it is a fold. And maybe the next time you just go all in so you don't have this problem. I don't know. I think it's a fold. It's impossible.
Yeah, and it's quite interesting now. Obviously, the difference between 8th and 7th was just 0 points to 1 point. But 7th to 6th, 6th place is 3 points. That's actually huge. 3 points, you're guaranteed to have 4 people below you after the first heat.
That's a very good point.
You know, that's
he's gonna fold. This is why I love King Rast. This is why I love King Rast.
That was tough. That was. He's got heart, Phil. He's got heart.
To survive.
Wow. Because of the way the stacks are, the guys that you should be able to pick on the most if you're the big stack are the medium stacks, because theoretically they should be the most fearful of getting knocked out next.
Yeah, because they have the most survivability by just chilling.
And Sorel Mizzi still the tightest player at the table right now. Brian Rast still the most aggressive.
And the least chips.
I wonder if those are just sort of playing styles that are going to stay true throughout the Premier League, or if that just has to do with the experience they've had here tonight.
I'll tell you this, the first couple of times I did these 21 hands, the blinds go up thing, I often regretted playing a little fast at the beginning because the chips are so precious, they're not being replaced.
So like,
you know,
every day, like you go to
the
bed,
blinds
like,
go up and you wish, wow, how did I leak off that 50,000? Right, it happened so fast.
50,000 was important because it could have meant 1 extra point.
You know, just like breaking down someone's game. If he just wants to war someone. Like,
so this is an interesting spot, of course. Mizzi's opening again, and Jungle has 3-bet him. And obviously it's really hammer time. It's shove or fold, and it's a very marginal hand for Mizzi. As it turns out, you know, he's way ahead of Jungleman.
If he knew Jungle's pattern of when I have average hands I re-raise and when I have monsters I flat, he would put it in.
Now, if he does shove, is Jungle priced into having to call? Maybe not.
Oh, I didn't see that. Maybe. I don't know.
And I wonder if the determining factor is that Brian Rast is just so darn low.
I was playing like Call of Duty on the side, and he's like, holy shit, I was like, here, I'll show you how to split the cards so you'll get better EV.
I have 2 times plus what Rast has. I just have to outlive Rast for sure.
He's on fumes there, King Rast. Under 10 big blinds, if I'm not mistaken.
The only thing that like kind of deters me is like
there always comes a point in everyone player's journey where they get they find the edge, and you have to go over the edge to kind of find out where it is.
Right, you have to go over the edge to find that edge.
You know, the traditional tournament philosophy which says you really shouldn't go under 10 big blinds, that sort of thing. It doesn't really apply here as much.
Because the points are huge. You can skitter away from the map because the new map of
I think I'm gonna beat a lot to most of you guys.
Like, I wasn't ready until 16,000. I came back on.
And right now, Brian Rast will consider 6th place a huge victory.
Correct.
Every day I woke up and I played every single person there.
You put your cards side by side.
And for that reason, Sorel Mizzi, you know,
I think Mizzi's got to take this hand and go with it. I mean, 125K.
I played every single day, like 10 hours, just wanted to play every regular there was. So I mentioned, okay, he's kind of not going anywhere.
Yeah, this is a good play. I like this play.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you, I'm sitting around doing nothing.
And
a lot,
he's
so I gotta
decided
think of something to do.
that, first of all, the value of the hand is
there's
too
no
much,
other games
and
that run,
also
so it's like,
that
well,
he's still
I'm gonna
preserving
win
his chance to
something.
get a whole
That's
lot of
gonna be-
points rather than just outlast Rast. I mean, is that the idea?
I was thinking maybe like the 8 game
I
games,
did
but I
ask
have
him
to go
about his
through
hoodie earlier. He
stud
says
and then
the extra bagginess does provide what he's doing right here, the opportunities to close off his neck tells.
Man, get straight flush of that, man.
Wow, he could have just gave it up. I guess Mizzi really.
pretty ones.
Yeah, he had some fold extra there.
No, it was a real
Strong play by
It wasn't
Sorel.
like 8-9-3.
He's
really mad at it.
He's got very strong.
He is sort of grown on me. I don't know if I like the right in front of Montreal. I mean, it's cool and everything, but this.
It's not really a real hoodie. It's more like a moo-moo, isn't it?
It's some kind of weird thing.
Yeah, it's got the
8,000 fold. Fold.
I think it's half hoodie, half moo-moo.
Yeah. I don't know about these kind of folds. It looks like he's. Ace 300. I don't know if
It feels like he's got too many chips at this blind level to be folding those, right?
Kind of.
Raised to 17,000.
The one thing you can say about making tight folds is your stack is the same, and somebody might get busted out, and you might go up in points.
Yeah.
Tight. Look at this. He would have ran into a legitimate hand. I mean, Rast is getting it all in here. He's trying to. He's figuring. He's worried about if he goes all in if he'll get called or not. But I think he thinks
Raise all in.
he doesn't have
Fold.
enough chips.
Yeah.
If he raises a little, he's gonna get called. Yeah. It's a race.
Oh, Rastinator! Didn't open. I gotta get my mind today.
I love my Rasty, but I have to bust you, Rastinator.
I'm gonna have to double up this time, kid. I'm feeling lucky.
No, I'm gonna get a jack.
I already got lucky, but time to get more
I
lucky.
think it's gonna be dirty, one way or the other. Like,
On
there's
the
gonna be a
turn?
10 involved. It
Feels
might win,
turny.
it might
If you
not,
don't
but
flop
it's gonna
it,
be like,
it's done.
It's gonna be like
That
a
does
flop.
feel like
a 10
it's gotta be on the flop.
And then, I don't know.
Rastinator, ladies and
You
gentlemen.
don't know from there? A 10 king flop. Then it's gonna be intense. One way or
gonna be
the other.
intense?
Yeah, it'll be a dramatic hand.
How do you wake up with 10s, Rasty?
I had to get a hand sooner or later.
How do you do it?
I was resorting to king 4 suiteds and stuff, but I finally got one.
You got the real one.
Come on, dealer, you can do it.
Somehow you have 2 overcards.
That's a good flop.
Antonio
That's
predicted
a good
the jack.
flop. It was nice.
Many
nice knowing
backdoors.
you.
Wow, this guy you're a sicko. Really telling him it was nice already. He's got back doors.
Of course it's done. Just ship the sherbet, you know?
Those are the same 2 cards. I think yeah, that looks fishy. Oh, just slightly overkill. Wow.
So for Brian Rast, first go here at the Premier League, he'll take 1 point from his first heat, and he's going to have some work to do if he wants to stay in this league.
Yep.
It's a brutal game. This is an unforgiving format. And Rast is going to have to come back with a new plan. Meanwhile, Antonio Esfandiari, he just really seems to be on top of this game tonight. Not the start Brian Rast was looking for here at the Premier League, but with 3 heats remaining, there is plenty of time for King Rast to come good. He's with Kara Scott.
There are 3 more heats for you to play, so it's definitely not over at this point, and you must feel that.
Yeah, no, I definitely got out to a bad start today, but you're right, it's not over. There's still 3 heats, and you know, I have 1 point to carry on, and I have a chance to do something with. So, yeah.
Well, good luck in those 3 heats. Thank you.
Thank you.
More from Premier League Season 7 after the break.
I have a really good feeling about this one.
I'm so good at poker.
Yeah, right.
Welcome back to the Playground Poker Club in Montreal, where Heat 1 of the Party Poker Premier League is playing out. Before the break, Brian Rast left the table with 1 point, so we're down to 6 in this opening heat. Let's return to the action.
Poker's going up.
Now, they're not playing in groups, so these guys won't play together every heat. But for me, Antonio, now he is on Jeff's left, and I guess at some point this will be reversed. But he's really put Gross under his thumb tonight.
Yeah.
I mean, he's had his way with him.
And he hasn't had the luxury of seeing what we're seeing, that these plays have been working with people who have had hands. They can get it through.
But he knows he's gotten pounded on.
But that's a sign of a really good poker player, is keeping your wits about you. You don't know when the guy has ace, king, or ace. Just folding, making
16,000.
big folds. You
Won't
can't win
sacrifice
unless
your ego, right?
Yeah, and that's one thing Gross has got wired. He doesn't have ego going on, really. He's just takes the emotion out of it. He's like, okay, this is technically a bad spot I'm in. I don't want to continue.
Right.
I still have chips. I have a lot of chips. I have 500,000 in chips, you know?
You also have
Gross folding the pocket deuces again. A tight,
Oh, there it is.
but correct
seen it
fold
here,
again,
folks.
because Koon woke up with queens.
all the moves from the videos.
Heads up.
This is where the leaks happen. You hit a 10 or a 7.
No bet.
And by the way, that's kind of a flop for 10-7. You've got, like, you know, 2 overcards.
And it wasn't a bad flop for the 2 deuces either.
Oh my God, look at that. It was wrong. It is, look at this. If
20,000.
you had 2s this year, you're getting a double up almost, right? Aren't you getting a ton of value?
Something.
Especially if you raise right here.
Check fold.
Hold. I got a good hand.
Now, let's get a close-up on Gross.
Really
Let's see
good
how
hand.
he looks.
Really?
He's going to look sick.
Number 3.
He's going to look
But
he's going to look close to being sick.
Oh, no, number 3
There he
free.
is.
What?
He looks
Number
like
3
he's sucking
free.
on a
He's
lemon.
wondering what his
really?
opponent had. You know, his opponent has ace-jack. It's not like it hurt him. His opponent
Hey,
has
Sorel,
ace.
and for him, it's different than me, obviously. He's got one of yeah, probably 6-12. You might get it.
6 players left in this initial heat of Premier League Poker 7. The blinds up are 6 and 12,000.
12 to call. In London, I'm going to know it was that hand. It just came.
And that's the dynamic right there. There's a lot of jockeying going on for position between that. Really not much between sort of Jason Koon, who's in fourth position, and the top 4 stacks all kind of bunched together a little bit. Antonio slightly ahead.
By the way, this is a reasonable shove
He doesn't
from
put the
Mizzi.
mask on the fold, I'll tell you
Yeah,
that.
okay. I mean, it's
C1
a durable
all in.
hand. It's if you snap called by ace jack or something, you're decently alive. You know, it's better to have king 4 than ace 4. The guy who wakes up. And a lot of times you're just going to get some folds. Even an ace 3 would fold, and it's beating.
A good sign for me.
I think an ace 3 would fold. Let's see, 104, 109th to call. I think anything. I mean, 7 and up is a call. I think ace 7 is a call. I think ace 6 is borderline. Ace 5 and below is a fold. Just shooting from there.
Wow, ace 3 and
and it's all in.
All in call.
Yeah. What do you like? Do you like that ace 3? He has the chips. He can afford it. He knows Mizzi's pretty wide with 10 big bumpers.
I won't say which one.
It's a little wider than
I have a really good feeling about this one. We sweat it together?
Come on, Miz.
Come on, bro. You got so many chips. Just let me get one. Just give me a little hope. Give me a little hope, bro.
Yeah, I don't know if Antonio needed to take it on, and I mean there could be an argument, Phil, that Antonio is the guy at the table who profits the most by having one very short stack out there.
Right.
I'm not sure if his upside is as big as his downside.
Yeah, I would have personally folded. I would have called with ace 7 up.
I think Antonio's opening a weird can of worms right now. I mean, he's going to actually be right back down into the pack. Sorel will have doubled up, and he's not going to really have the edge that by folding he really maintains that huge edge.
He
on
maintains
the and he inhibits all those other short medium stacks from playing with Mizzi out
and he doesn't want Mizzi to double up. I mean, this is that's just exactly what he doesn't want.
I think he may have made a big mistake.
I wouldn't have done it. I don't want to necessarily just say it's a mistake when it might.
That's what friends are for.
I had a queen.
When you have the
that
chips,
might have been a clear fold.
What?
I mean, remember Antonio's still got a lot of chips.
And for Sorel Mizzi, that was a huge double up. Now, you know, he can feel like
now he's in the pack.
I had a good.
My name's Sorel Mizzi. I'm from Toronto, Ontario, and I've been playing poker professionally for about 9 years now. It's in my blood. I know I'm a gambler, so I'm a very competitive person by nature, and I also know that I like to gamble, so playing poker is a perfect way for me to channel my degeneracy in a positive way. My family at first was very concerned. They didn't like the whole idea of gambling. They didn't really understand it. But then I started winning, and then they got the lobster dinners and like the jackets and the nice clothing, and then they were pretty happy about it. Playing the Premier League in Canada on my home turf, that's like just doubles the amazingness of being able to play this tournament. And winning this tournament would just mean the world to me. I've come so close so many times. I've never actually won a major tournament. I just want to experience that once, you know, be playing a major tournament and then have all the chips at the end. That would just be so amazing. I'm waiting for that. This could be it.
for Sorel Mizzi, he had a horse and now he's got a whip, essentially.
Right.
$1 million.
I have to
Super
say,
whip, you know
I
what
like
I'm saying?
Jungleman's chances, prospects in the rest of this heat, Phil. He seems to have really zoned himself in here.
And he has chips too, and he's right up there. He's like on the heels. He's effectively tied for second, even though he's really in third
Seed 8
place.
raised 25,000.
You have to give Antonio a lot of credit because he's so smart about this game. I mean,
Full.
I'm sure he had and he was so.
Well, he had the best hand, and he said, "Well, I have the best hand." You know, it's like it can't be that wrong.
Yeah.
Esfandiari loves this hand, but he's doing the pressure thing.
Seed 4 re-raise.
We have seen 0 light 4-bets in this Premier League so far. Now, we know that sooner or later they are going to come.
I don't know. Koon's style so far, what we've seen is he doesn't really want to be in this spot right now.
And you know, Antonio, he's picked a good spot to do it because Koon's got an awkward stack size. He really can't 4-bet fold. And if he jams here, it's a huge jam.
Yeah, it's like, this is why you can fold deuces through sixes in the first two spots, because you're put in too many awkward
Seed 8
spots.
raise all in.
Wow,
wow,
that's a strong jam.
Read.
That's a strong jam.
It's kind of turning your hand. Wow, this is so sick.
It's turning your hand into a bluff,
but it's not. It's the best hand, but he's trying to get better hands or race hands to fold.
Is that a case of him perhaps
I wouldn't have done that, but that's great.
underestimating Jason Koon? Or did Jason Koon really just take a huge risk there?
Probably can't rip this either. Someone can. Yeah, you can rip it.
Come on, you can't smoke it.
If you try.
Now they're all seeing if they can rip 20 Canadian. They're rubbery kind of. They defend the ripping pretty well. Now they're giving it to Koon, muscle man. Rip the 20.
You sure?
Can always tape it back together.
It's hard to get a grip on.
Oh, now all of a sudden it's hard to get a grip on it. Come on, muscle man. Tear it. Yeah, get a little tear. Well, use your teeth. Get it on.
Yeah, getting it to do that.
Okay, he's
I can rip that money. Use your teeth.
Wow. The brown ones, I didn't
And a knife.
Seed 5 raised 25,000. Fold.
And this is under the gun, but it's a nice hand, you know.
Is it durable?
It's durable.
Fold.
And remember, they're 6-handed now, not 8-handed. So you got this is Mizzi's hand. Ace King of clubs.
I mean,
he's never flatting here. I don't think. I mean, he's like.
I mean, is all in too big a bet right now?
Let's see. He has 250. If he raises it, so.
He probably wants to raise
30.
small to induce, or.
I would raise. I don't think he's going all in. I think he's going to raise, and it will look like he's committed. Or maybe go. Yeah, there it is. Raise.
Seat 1 re-raise 30,000.
Stuff on Twitter.
Is that all he did? 30?
No, 60,000.
Okay, 60. That feels better.
60,000.
That was really cool. I got
That's
like a while back. You posted one.
It does give Cates a chance to hang himself if he had ace queen or something.
Like a real good list, and also never drink soda.
Yeah, and that's really not what Mizzi wanted to see.
This is kind of sick. This is defending out of position with queen high. This is. I mean, Jungle thinks it's just.
Like, I remember everything else.
This is don't try this at home.
Yeah, it was just like random stuff that like popped in my head.
I mean,
I had to like learn.
look at this.
Yeah.
Seat 5.
You're gonna go check. You've got to bet something. This is for sure. The reason why you bet something here is if your opponent has Broadway cards, you're going to be giving him a free gutter ball if you don't bet. And if he has like 9-10, you're going to give him a free 5 outs without betting. You've got to.
And you were so surprised that Jungleman peeled with this type of hand. I mean, is Mizzi saying to himself, Jungle's more likely to have a hand that's, you know, only drawn to like
the
2
problem
outs.
is, see, I don't know if this is contrarian thinking, but I'm more likely to defend with 8-9 of hearts instead of queen, because you're overcoated too often when Mizzinator has the king queen or ace queen or whatever.
Seat 1 bet 66,000.
I mean, you're dead either way if the guy has aces or kings.
Right.
You know, so you might as well have the lower.
How much do you love, Sorel?
And if your opponent has kings, 7-8 of hearts makes more straights than a jack queen anyways, because the blockage.
56,000. Sorry.
Jungle's asked the question: how many does Sorel have back? Is there any fold equity?
Well,
and
he's thinking. I wonder if he can. But
Avocado?
I mean, there isn't. Mizzi loves this flop. This is one of the problems. This is one of the problems with playing those draw hands.
Jungle's really going to get himself in a sick pickle here if he shoves.
Yep. It'll be lights out for jungle if you don't. But oh, he's sick.
You know what that sigh was? That sigh was, I really hate tournament poker.
Yep.
that was the I hate tournament poker sigh.
Yep.
Mizzi up to over 300,000. He's going to be a force in this. He's wiggled and wriggled and jiggled his way.
He's now up there. 338.
He is the embodiment of the Eensy Beensy Spider.
Welcome back. You're watching the Party Poker Premier League from the Playground Poker Club in Montreal, Canada. 12 players compete for points in a league format where the top 4 gain automatic promotion to the final table and the next 4 clash in the heads-up playoffs for the final 2 seats. Let's get back to the table for Heat 1.
Premier League Poker Playground Poker Club here in Montreal. It's a $100,000 guarantee going on in the background and a $125,000 buy-in front and center.
Slightly deeper.
Seat 7 raised 25,000.
So Colman on.
So much easier than 24, you know.
I didn't hold a pair.
And he's out early. He's certainly out early. Wow, what does Mizzi feel? Oh, he's opening up.
I wonder what poker's raising.
The floodgates are open. Mizzi picked something up. Has he got a read on this guy? Or does he just understand how Dan Colman thinks? Or is it purely a chip play where Mizzi realizes he now has enough chips to invest?
Right. To make one stab, 58. If I don't get my 25 out of the pot, or whatever was in the pot, I'm done.
Fold.
I have position. Could be. We might just see it.
$1K back, you know? He's a master tactician, Mizzi. I mean, he's really. Holy! I feel like he's played quite flawless tonight.
Mizzi's stock has gone up.
Mizzi's stock has gone up.
Yeah, he just wins 50-something, 57,000 with that play, and he really. Now he's at 391. These pots are big now. There's 30 floating out there right now, every hand.
Okay, what's a strong Premier League statement of his intentions?
He actually,
I know you're not doing social catch-up calls.
Small big guy.
You don't know that for sure.
Sorel recently, a couple months ago, there was one of the largest buy-in tournaments. It wasn't the one drop, but over in Macau, I think it was a 250,000 or was it more?
I think it was 250,000 Hong Kong, which is around 40 or 50,000 US, or
no, it was
7 to 1.
Certainly more than that. The buy-in was certainly.
It was $1 million. I don't remember. It was big.
And I think Sorel was in. I think they were only.
C1
average
raised
stack was about 8
25,000.
big blinds when it got to the final table.
It's not sick.
Sorel had.
Mizzi is going for the. I am getting that 30K out there. I want it. I want to take that 30K.
25,000 to call.
Jungle's not going anywhere.
Mizzi's doing the equivalent of ramming and jamming right now. This is
call.
And Daniel's just flatted here. In his mind, too many chips to shove. I mean, it's only 30 big blinds.
What was it, 25?
Is he trying to trap Colman here?
Oh my God! I mean,
this is the kind of hand that a lot of the new breed would shove with, right? Make a little squeeze play.
There will be a flop.
Seat 7 call.
I personally would have reaggressed.
If you were Jungleman, or if you were Colman. Or perhaps both.
No, with Jungleman. Coleman, I would flat. I don't know if that's because I'm seeing ace queen. No, I'm going to take that back. I often just flat with ace queen.
And Coleman's got the best hand, but it's not exactly a powerhouse. How does he want to play this? He's only got about 200K back. I think he's probably going to have to just try and get it in the check jam here, right? That's his plan. He can't exactly. He can't pass.
228. Yeah,
Sorel, he's going to just get it in, right?
I think he has to. He's only losing to
C1 bet
a handful of
28,000.
hands. He's really. The problem is when you raise and you get called, you're always losing. Oh, look at this. This is just a value call. I don't think he's raising yet. Is this a raise? No, it's a value call.
Does this make it tricky for Dan?
Really tricky. In fact, Dan can feasibly fold because he's feeling, wow, what if What if a club peels off? Oh, there it is.
Seat 7 raised all in.
He figures if he's, he figures.
He has the
Kates
conviction
might
of
just
the
have
map.
a draw,
Yeah.
and now this is a posture.
168
And right
more.
now, Coleman's heart must be going pitter-patter, but he's going to get this through.
Oh, 100%.
It's a hard move to make if you're Dan, because if you get called, usually you're dead.
On top.
And, you know, it's interesting because of the way it worked out, it looks like Daniel just slaughtered his chips there. You know, obviously, if he 3-bets, he wins.
Yeah. If he committed. If he had committed. Now the blind, he's at a kind of an awkward stack. For, I mean, that guy opens for 30, he's 10%. He's out of position. I think it was fine, what everyone did there.
Guys, antes, please.
You know what I'm saying? Overall, that was very reasonable unfolding.
No one went broke.
The one thing I've learned about the jungle is when with his real hands, he just flats or whatever. When he has the air and the whatever, he re-raises. And when he has super good hands, he doesn't even bet. It's like anti-poker. Is that how you do it in the cash games? I do that in cash games a little bit. Not like jungle.
He's a mystery, the jungle.
Koon bringing up the ranks. Gross slipping just a little bit. Mizzi pulling ahead far. And Kate's on the starting stack.
Yeah, and Antonio back in the chip lead again, so everything's still going well for him. I'm sure he's
Seat
feeling
7 raised,
still feeling very
25,000.
confident about things.
Koon with garbage. Look at this. Mizzi has a real hand. This is
full.
I mean,
that's great. What a great fold. Wow.
He's got a read on the guy. I mean, how could he not have a read on the guy? The last round, Colman opened with the 4-6 suited, and Mizzi raised him with gobbledygook.
Yeah.
Now it's the ace-king, and he folded the king-queen.
You'll see it on TV.
It's a lie.
How much you want to bet?
What did you say, Ed?
He did.
You want to bet?
King, queen.
You're going all in always.
I could be bluffing.
You're for sure bluffing.
But I might be willing to bet that I had king queen. I just blew Phil Locke's mind.
Wow. He's right. Throw Mizzi did blow my mind. That was a really good fold.
And look at his chip history, Sorel Mizzi. I mean, this is beautiful. Nothing happened for him in the first 75 hands.
75. He played trickle-down poker for 75 hands, and then he said it's time. And then he has a king-queen, and he's like, I can wait. Wow, what a beast. What a beast.
I think he really is a beast.
I would have been pretty tilted if you guys didn't
He
say,
just
hey.
folded king-queen there. That was super pure.
It's the new rule these days.
It's a survival move. You know?
Seat 5 raised, 25,000. Fold.
So, oh, wow. Koon has hit pay dirt on this one because Jungle's not going anywhere with 2 jacks.
He's holding on with both hands. And there's really no escape from this. These things happen.
Yep. Poker.
Seat 8 raised, 52,000.
This will certainly be good news for the other participants not involved in the hand here.
Right, especially
chip movement's always quite good.
You know, Mizzi's the least stacked fella at the table. When he sees what's happening here, he's going to love this. Love it. And also, you'll notice that Koon has 416 and Kate's jungle has 340. So this is,
I mean, can Daniel Cates ever find a peel here? Or
let's see, that's a good question. I don't know.
Could you find a peel here? Not really. With what has he got?
Cost him 27. He has 3. Yeah, but you're thinking as if an ace comes, I'll get away from it. I don't know.
I'm all in.
Yeah, I think this is a better play than peeling.
Seat 5 re-raised, all in.
It's just too big a hand.
All in call.
Good news for Koon.
You're needing a jack. It comes.
I'm so good at poker.
He comes out with this club. He swings the ropes and the vines, and he comes and he hangs on the wall. He finds a jack.
You know, he
punishes the hunters.
He has always been golden in the Premier League. Look at that smile.
God, he has 704,000. He's now a chip leader. He has to just dodge 2 outs. He has to dodge 2 outs. He's 94% to have 704,000. The jungle came swinging from the vines on this one, boys. Wow, the jungle.
You do wonder how much equity shifted play right there.
You count there, buddy?
I haven't done that in a while, let me tell you.
Wow, and now Koon on 77K with the super short stack.
We're all rooting for you, kid.
Yeah, right.
We were. What are you talking about?
Why are you rooting for me?
One guy out. Yeah, I guess it's a pay jump.
Koon takes his pain pretty good. I've seen him take some serious, deadly blows.
Down now 77,000, and a big favorite, obviously, to be next out, taking only 3 points from this first heat, while the Jungleman is now looking like he's got a bit of a lock on one of the top 2 or 3 spots.
Koon, how come your hands never hold up?
I don't know. Maybe one of these days.
How do you win at poker if your hands never hold up?
I'm just significantly better than everyone else.
Guys, small blind, big blind.
Antonio asked the question, how do you win at poker if
no,
your
I'm
hands
just kidding.
hold up?
I'm just kidding. I've run well in some spots. I just haven't.
Big blind.
I'm significantly better than everyone.
haven't ran great.
You know, I think he has played quite well.
This
Premier League, of course, is far from over. And also, you know, 3 points is not great, but it's not a disaster.
Right. It's the borderline between not great and not
disaster.
disaster.
Had a turn. He was big blind. I announced small blind, big blind, and he just pushed his cards forward.
Oh, I think somebody's going to miss 2 hands. I think his name is Jungle.
Yeah, and he just pushed his cards forward. Seat 7 reads 25,000.
I think he might have been close to getting the pot.
Yeah, from the big blind, he probably almost passed. One thing's for sure, there's not going to be a lot of leeway given as far as the players are concerned towards Jungleman. They have very little sympathy for him right now.
Repeat offenders don't get the...
25?
Only jungle could call here. I mean, only the jungle.
Jungle calls defense everything. This is a for sure.
I mean, we got the 3.
He's up against a suited hand. It's no fun. His suits are no good, you know.
Right, he tried to fold. Now he's called. And Dan said, I wonder what your range is right here.
Seat 5 check.
This is the problem with these kind of 2-5 hands. You have to be super 19,000. Now, of course, you have to call. I mean, I think you do, right? And because you have a pair, middle pair.
We need a better line, like, you know.
Yeah, that was terrible.
We know the beat, the core is good in the jungle.
You need a Wimba way.
But we
now
need
he's picked up
something
the straight
inside
shot.
the jungle, because he's the jungle.
The jungle.
Yeah, you can't be inside of
Seat 7 check.
He might get to the river too.
I mean, it's cool if you're getting it.
You know, you have the 5 you call. The guy might shut down if he doesn't have a queen, which is what happened.
And, you know, these sort of moves, they put pressure on a guy. When I mean, what is Colman going to do right now? He's going to be risking his stack if he fires.
Nice there, Antonio.
Seat 5 check.
That would have been nice.
Big difference.
Yeah. Yeah, big difference.
Big difference.
Seat 7 check.
I can't wait to see this.
They all
we got the call.
Well, the Jungleman picking up where he left off, really, taking over the Premier League. Plenty more from the Party Poker Premier League Season 7 after the break.
This doesn't happen online.
And see that coming. It's like unreal.
I just don't have the heart.
I'm like so-so at all ins.
You say I can't win flips?
Look how good I am.
Yeah, baby.
The world doesn't understand it. All they see is all the bracelets. That's all they see.
This is the different year of Premier League for me.
Yes, baby! I am the greatest. I want the limo. I'm ready to go. I don't want to hang out.
None of you here have any heart. Believe me, I've been watching you guys. It's embarrassing.
On your bikes! It's time to go! It's time to go!
Come on, Ireland.
Well done, Andy Black. Well done. It's good stuff to want something so badly and finally get it. Well done.
Thanks, everybody. I always wanted to do this. Yes!
The noise level rising here at the Playground Poker Club. Look at that heaving mob here.
73,000.
Later stages of the night.
Still
early in tournament time.
Something more, just to have chips.
Doing a roaring trade.
That's.
I think they added some money to that tournament in the back. They might have added surprise me.
Well, it's a $100,000 guarantee and only $100 buy-in. So that's.
And then there's like some evidence that, that sort of suggests otherwise.
It's attractive. It's got 3 starting days though.
Right.
I raise.
Yeah, you just got to put your cards in. He's all in for 73,000.
Oh, wait.
He didn't see that.
I'm all in for 73,000.
I announced it.
He didn't see that.
At full.
You announced it.
Okay, we've got a problem. I think.
Yeah,
I think Jason Koon has shoved all in under the gun, and Daniel has announced verbally, "I raise."
I thought it was the big one.
He said 73,000. I announced 73,000. Came around to him on the small blind.
All
He said
whatever.
raise.
I can still win anyway.
Non-knowing.
Yeah, you definitely
all in.
Yeah.
And
game official as well as, you know, verbal. So
does Dan still? You still have a hand?
And Dan still has a hand. What is Dan? Dan Colman has jumped in the big blind.
I was going to move all in anyway. Man. My hand's not that bad at least. Are we? Look at how good I am.
It's true.
No, he's kidding me. Six bigs. I've got 7s.
Wow! Look at that.
All sorts of things, man. We have a flush draw.
He's got a straight flush draw?
And a straight draw.
None of spades, and it's all over.
Come on, don't say that. You've been cruel enough to me as is. Like, let me win a little 150K pot.
It's 170.
I'm feeling greedy.
Oh, wow. Look at that. Unless Koon can find a pair of the board.
It's not the 9 of spades.
He has to get something. Except the 9 of spades correctly, that wouldn't do it. Look at that, full house.
73,000.
Amazing. He noticed that the 9 of spades was no good for a full house.
20.
That's action.
Interesting. Wow. Jason Koon does double up.
Jungle. How do you win so much? Huh?
This doesn't happen online.
You don't misclick online with a lot of tables?
It's very rare. It's definitely happened though. I get so mad when it happens.
Just try it for every like 10,000 hands, the same amount as like.
It's more often than once every 10,000 hands. It's more like once every like 1,500 hands or once every 2,000 hands.
Have a look here, Phil, at the Jungle's chip movement.
Yep, there's that spike. That's remember when he hit the jack from nowhere to beat Koon's queens.
He had been steadily building up to the point where
survival and build. Yeah, he was maintaining everything.
His 3-bet percentage of 12%, probably the highest at the table.
Yep. Yeah, and he liked to pick on people.
I feel like it's
and when he had the button, if somebody raised, he would just do it.
I can call raises.
But yeah, I think Jeff Gross is one of those guys who, you know, when you watch him play, you think he's playing a little bit too tight. But then when you see the results, you think, you know, he's got a good game plan overall for this Premier League.
Seat 7 raised 25,000. Fold. Fold. Fold.
It looks like Jungle is getting his wish. He's in the big blind with 2 cards.
C5 call.
He loves it.
He says it's kind of good being in the big blind, you know?
He will defend his
Look at that. Colman doesn't even like it. He's like...
We got the call. It's true.
Seat 5, check.
It's kind of like the unstoppable force
then
in the movable
Now
object.
look at, I mean, Jungle's lucky. What if Jungle had like a King 4 or a 9-10? He'd be trickling off.
Jungle is absolutely confident that the call is right in the big blind, and Colman is equally convinced that the call is wrong.
They're laughing at each other.
They really are. They have a lot of respect for each other, and yet both think each other.
It's so
pretty
interesting. There's so many ways to win at poker. It's nuts. It's all the clashing styles of winners, you know.
That is not a fair flip with the 1 out.
That's one where I just gotta think about it.
That's pretty.
For a second, let's talk about that ace king.
10%.
Coleman raised and Mizzi
like that
folded
close
king
to the
queen.
spot.
That's just like
I always
shows
like
you survival
small blind
power
here.
right there. It gives me inspiration for playing tight when I see that kind of stuff.
I think if you wonder about what Sorel is really excels at, I think he really excels at the fine lines and different stack sizes. You know, he's
there's a point where
he's got a different game plan for 23 big blinds, 24 big blinds, and 26 and a half.
Here comes Esfandiari with
raise,
effectively a real hand on the button. I mean, I like this play. Queen 6 folds. Coleman, let's see if Coleman pulls a jungle and calls or a fill and folds.
Right.
Because I'm not defending this one, by the way. If it was suited, I would defend,
Right.
and I know that's only a few more percentage points, but I don't know. For spiritual flow, it adds a lot.
Do you know, this also shows an uncertainty in Coleman's game.
He's doing it. He's saying, you know what? No. I know that you have to raise super wide. I'm just going to take advantage. This is the 2-4, the 3, whatever.
65,000 total.
Remember how Jungle was earlier saying, you guys and your
all
tournaments,
you
all you have is your
the
3-bet. That's all you have. This is it, the 3-bet.
And you know what?
Antonio historically has never defended these. He just, I mean, he doesn't have a good hand here.
Antonio's got the kryptonite for this.
He's not doing anything here. So I don't think he's defending or anything. No. He has, historically in this whole match, he wants to. He wants to. He can feel.
Did he say all in?
Said I'm all in.
He did!
Wow.
That's the magician.
I haven't done a
He knows what these guys are about, Phil.
He does.
I didn't hear that.
He's the winningest tournament poker player of all time. He knew Colman before he sat down. He was waiting for that 3-bet.
Okay, that was really good poker. I gotta say, I don't think I would have done that play. That was good.
My name is Antonio Esfandiari. I'm a professional poker player. I like to bet on everything, and I'm what you call a full-blown degenerate. Obviously, I think my proudest achievement is probably the 1-drop. I feel as if it was my destiny at that time. It made the cover of newspapers in Israel, so everybody heard about it. It was great. Last time I played the Premier League, I took 3rd, so unfortunate, not the best result I wanted, but given that I started off so bad, it wasn't too shabby. This year to come back and win it would be huge. I love being in Montreal and I love the Playground Card Club, so how can you say no? I'd love to have a Premier League title under my belt, you know? They only give away 1 a year, so that'd be great.
Blinds are going to be going up again. Jungleman and Antonio Esfandiari leading the way. Jungleman, of course, with a bit of a draw out on Jason Koon. Antonio has been really showing his wares tonight.
Yep.
How many chips do I have on the all? 240.
Yeah, the next 2 knockouts will probably be a little bit ugly, won't they?
Yeah.
If it's any other way, we're
and really, when is the next time we'll see a turn card?
I'm 99.9% sure that's what I did.
My bad. 16 to go. Raise. 32,000. Oh.
Giving Sorel the hard look.
Posturing, and this is any 2 cards, Jungleman.
Look at that
there it
smile.
Is. He loves it. Yeah, I got the king rag. I'm in.
We cash game players like to see flops.
Didn't see that coming. Yeah, right.
Check on bet. Check.
I'll tell you one thing about, if there is one effect that the Jungleman's sort of big defense has, is that it makes everybody else play flops. And a lot of these guys, now Sorel's not one of them, he doesn't mind playing flops,
right.
but it's certainly taking some of these guys out of their comfort zone. And he knows, I mean, that is, I'm sure, an intended benefit, right?
Yep, for sure.
Coleman doesn't
this hand
seem...
is interesting. He has the, oh, wow. He had that vulnerable, I'm winning, but I'm not sure I'm winning. Like the king 10 on that 10 high flop with Seaver. But now he knows he's winning, you know? Let's see if he can get any money out of the king high. Who might think he's winning with king high? I doubt it, but maybe.
And if Jungleman bets here, Sorel must call, right?
Well, I don't think you can raise
38,000.
It's just 2.
Right. But I mean,
your hand's too strong.
From what we know about the Jungleman, when he bets the turn in these spots, he almost never gives up on the river. He has gone for the raise.
This looks like total and complete.
But you have to fold.
I just don't have the heart. I just don't have the heart. This looks like such nonsense. I want to shove so badly. He might have it.
It is.
The shoving is just so
Greatest of
edible.
all time in period, you know? He really is.
You give me 2-1 that he has it? Really?
You're giving him 2-1 that I had it?
3?
Oops. Makes sense to bluff if I hold some stuff. This might be a stupid bet on me. I could see this possibly being stupid. Some
I
guys
actually think he might have had 8. He might have just had the old 8 ball, you know?
16,000.
It's like 8-10 is really going to play.
Very possibly on
That makes a lot of sense.
Well, Antonio read that right. As a dead on.
And Colman did too. He put his money where his mouth was. Maybe not as much as he should have, but he's still.
Did you really play the antes?
Queen 10 suited, a very strong hand.
You did? Okay. I fold.
32,000.
Wow, now he's getting into tight mode. That was ace,
So
8 of diamonds for Jungleman.
That's not what I thought would happen.
32?
He's in.
He's spinning the Jungleman.
He's just can't handle. He's just still processing that last bet. He can't chew gum and play baseball at the same time, or he can't make a side bet and play the ace 8 of diamonds.
Mizzing all over me.
Koon defends in the big blind.
Yeah, and neither of these guys, Phil, have too many chips. It's
yeah,
Koon has under 20
bigs. 347.
It's a huge flop for Sorel. Really, you know, when you've got.
Is it so big that you can just check and try and let him fire out on the turn? Maybe. Mizzi thinks so.
Wow, Sorel really. And
wow, what a Terra card. Terra bad card, rather.
Check.
Can't bet now,
no.
can he?
No, now I don't think you bet now. I mean, if you bet, you have to fold to any raise. Although, yeah, I think you just check.
He's gone from trapping to try and get a cheap showdown. Is it really that bad?
It's kind of weird. I'll tell you this: if you bet and you get called, you're shutting down.
Can Jason Koon? Does Jason Koon have to play honestly at this point? In Sorel's mind, he does.
Yeah.
Sorry, how much?
He's probably thinking if my opponent had a nice king, I would have heard about it pre-flop anyways.
The noise level rising here at the Playground Poker Club. Look at that heaving mob here. Later stages of the night. It's still early in tournament time. What kind of odds would you give me that Jeff Gross is the next player out? Could he end up
like
sixth?
A bunch of heartbreaks and then finally get there though.
Well, yeah, I will. Eventually, I'll just keep clicking reg till they let me win a couple.
Has Jeff Gross, has he slumped slightly? Is he sitting a little lower in his seat? Something about his auras.
I was certain I was winning alpha 8. I was like, I was 100% certain.
Raised to 32,000. Fold.
How much?
Fold. 32.
32. How much do you have?
So at the start of the hand, Mizzi's stack was 21 big blinds.
Well, guess what I'm gonna do?
Yep.
Mix it up a little bit, go in once in a while, would you?
I think I like calling.
You can almost fold fours against a guy like Jungle who's going to defend with anything because it's like, so what? You're never getting your value out of the damn fours, you know?
It's a very funny point. I mean, as much as everybody, you know, is laughing or making fun of Jungleman for the way he's playing, it does seem like they're struggling to come up with an antidote.
Right. Like, look at this, because now the C-bet gets captured by the Jungle.
I mean, he is.
He smiles even. He's like happy. He's like, yes. And he has a lot of chips, so he can afford, if he should be wrong, he can afford it. Oh, that
that like just makes Jungle feel like I can't lose now.
You know, also because Mizzi knows that Jungleman is calling with any two, certainly a deuce is in his range here. So, you know, Mizzi can still legitimately think he's got the best hand sometimes.
Yep. That's true.
I mean, obviously it looks like it has to be an ace, a 2, or an 8.
Yep.
But
and now the only hand Mizzi can really beat is like the 10-2 or whatever. And will Daniel try and get tricky?
Wow.
And go for a check? Or does he play it kind of face up? Not really face up, but traditional. The traditional play is to bet here.
Too big a chance that he could actually get paid off if Mizzi has a king or something.
I think you're supposed to bet here because, a king's going to look like a dry, thin, correct call, and a pair of 10s can easily call. And
92,000.
so he bets 92 into 150. It's effectively
no, you're right.
And really,
68% of the pot.
What am I doing? Challenging you at your job.
It's an interesting spot, isn't it? Because Mizzi could legitimately think that he actually that Jungleman has to be bluffing here. I mean, if it was a 2, even if it was a 2 with a king
could
or
be a
2
3-4, 3-5, 5-3.
Right.
King 2. Yeah, those are all
anything with showdown value. He would have definitely checked on the river, Jungleman, right? And if he had an 8, would he have made a big bet?
Fold.
Look at that. He's found a good fold. Good.
In the jungle.
Now you see why I call.
Jungle. Jungle is the chip leader with 697.
Quick call sometimes.
Antonio
You definitely can't win if you
clipping
lose.
his heels with 625.
I don't really like
You know, for the Jungleman, one of the things you have to love about him is it's not enough that he wins. He has to win his way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
He wants to do it.
I'm still impressed by how Koon came back from that crippling blow he took with the set of jacks for the Jungle. He just crawled back from nothing. He's been playing great since. So let's see, who's under the gun here?
Yeah, he's one of those.
Koon. And Koon
raised to 32,000.
Oh, Koon goes for a min bet.
I think he'd be the most well-equipped at the table to go without food or water for 7 days and still be quite mentally tough, you know. I don't think you'd break him under duress.
Fold.
How much do you have exactly?
260.
This is interesting.
It's probably quite marginal because it's 260 is only about 15, 16 big blinds. I mean, Jungleman certainly could have.
It's 16 and a half big blinds, the ace 10 of clubs.
Just gotten it in there. I mean,
it's 263,000. He definitely could have. And now this is closing action, a straight, legit, simple, traditional.
Right, and this is kind of where he got into, well, not trouble, but it's a little different. But similar to that ace-queen hand, he's now let Colman in again.
Right.
You know, that would have been the benefit of just...
Yep, getting your value from the 8s.
Check.
And because the Jungleman's played the hand like this, does he have to is check folding just sort of the...
It's interesting. A lot of players just call when the C-bet comes. They just call. But Jungle's good, and I think Jungle can find... He's like, you know what, maybe I was just no set, no bet. The standard line is I'll call and then see what happens on the turn.
Fold.
He does have 2 outs, of course, to catch up. Spike, pass, whatever.
Don't you think Koon is Koon likely to check the turn here or barrel it?
Check or bet, check.
By the way, that king, counterintuitively enough, is a better card for the ace-10 to see than, let's say, a 9. And the reason why is if your opponent has the ace-king, he's already beating you. The king is a good card. You want overcards to your 10 to come. If a 9 peels off, a hand that you were beating, ace-9, would now have caught up. So on that king and 9, he's more afraid of a 9 than a king, if that makes sense to the viewer at home. You want the overcards to come when you, like if you have ace-queen and a king peels. Because if he was beating you, he's already beating you. Although it's a counterintuitive feel thing. It doesn't feel like that, but it's true.
This is a good play.
I just don't see Jungle doing anything there. I just see
he's considering turning his hand into a bluff.
He does have that aura, for sure. He has the aura of that.
And if he does
Look at
make
his
a
chest
bluff,
is heaving too.
It's probably an all-in bet that he's thinking of making. I mean, Koon has just over a pot-sized bet back, I think, or maybe slightly less than a pot-sized bet. And if he decides to turn his hand into a bluff, what is he trying to get to fold?
He's trying to get ace 10 to fold. He's trying to get ace jack to fold.
Really?
He's thinking ace queen can fold. I mean, these are hands like, well, he could have had ace 9. He could have had the way Jungle plays. He could have. Wow, snap call.
Wow! And Jason Koon, talk about sweet revenge.
He's got his customer dialed in.
Supposed to have that in there.
It was like, call.
You're not supposed to have that hand there, says the Jungleman to Jason Koon.
Koon is up to 500 almost, 479 from 73 or something. Getting revenge on his nemesis with the jacks. Wow.
Jason Koon enjoying his first Premier League. We caught up with him before taking his seat.
Well, I had no money in college, like zilch. But I was always good at analytical things. So I started with like $5 buy-in games with my buddies, and within a month, none of them wanted to play really anymore. And then I won an $11 buy-in tournament online that had 25,000 people on it for 20K. I was like, cool, I have $20,000, I don't know what to do with it, so I'll spend 18 of it on a car and then be broke again. I guess this year's been a good year. I think I have 1.4 million in cashes this year, and I don't have a cash over 316,000, so just overall, I still haven't had like a massive live win. I've been in the position maybe 10 times. It's just a matter of time. I certainly will win a bunch of titles before I'm done. I final tabled Alpha 8, which was a $100,000 buy-in tournament. It was really neat to get four-handed, and then first was 1.1 million US, and I lost Ace King to 9s to bust to somewhere. Ran and jumped in the ocean, and it was a pretty good day. If I keep printing and putting up results, I think I belong here, and until somebody can prove that differently, you know, let's keep it coming.
Season 7 of the Party Poker Premier League is here at the Playground Poker Club in Montreal. Heat 1 is underway as the players embark on their shot at taking down the title. Points are what they need in this league format, so let's get back to the table to see how the remaining players are doing.
It's a three-way race for the top and another three-way race for the bottom.
It really is. And it's pretty close, the 250 to 300.
16,000 full.
You know, and these guys have played an awful lot of hands to walk away with 3 points now.
After that Kate's dripping down effect over time, he's now second, and Antonio is now first. I think Mizzi's gonna love this hand.
Raise all in?
That's totally reasonable.
Especially from the button.
Yeah, he's got 14.5 big blinds.
And now we know from that Antonio. Well, Antonio called him with the ace-3. Why not the ace-deuce?
It's the same hand. Oh, that's a sign of I'm going to fold if you do show the whole.
I mean, it really is the same hand, isn't it?
It is the same hand.
Why did I have to look down at an ace?
In a regular tournament, you wouldn't say that. You could get a penalty, but just a little lax here, I think. By the way, I would argue more of a call here than an earlier one where I was arguing for a fold, because before he's going into the tent.
Jeff Gross.
He's in the tent.
Jeff Gross will be the happiest guy.
Tent.
Yeah, he is. He's moo-mooed up. And that's not really half moo-moo, that's 3/4. Look at that, those neck folds. That's almost like the Ewok on the...
The problem is it has to hold
Return
up.
of the
That's the
Jedi.
problem.
Or is it the Empire Strikes Back? Gosh, I feel like Mizzi could show him his cards and Antonio should still want to fold.
Yeah.
That's the problem. You know what I mean, Jungle?
That is the problem.
It's hard for it to hold up, no?
He looks like that Darth Sith guy.
What do you yell?
Like Star Wars? Trying to convince Luke to come over to the dark side? That guy, really? Never watched Star Wars.
He doesn't look that creepy.
I mean, I think this is one of those fundamental,
Looks like it might be
what's your philosophy on the Premier League here?
Is it point accumulation or... But I think you got to fold. This is why I like folding before. I'm going to go back. I'm not saying to call. I'm saying to fold. And I think...
It doesn't look nearly as dangerous.
I think I'm right.
It's kind of
because the points. The points thing, yeah. I think you just got to fold.
Koon, when you know you have the best hand...
Bro, I thought for sure you're mocking. I'm sorry, Sorel. I was 100% certain. He does the pump fake more than anyone. I didn't mean to like.
Koon is correct.
I don't even know what you did.
He did the pump fake.
I mean, I know I'm beating him. His range is like, you know, but it's got to hold.
It's true, and
there's points.
Sorel knows it so well that he doesn't even react.
Right, PBF? If he shows me like A7, which he doesn't have, I'll be sick. What should I do, dealer?
No idea.
You don't know? What would you do if you were me?
I don't know.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you. I would have felt like such an asshole if he called after that.
Huh?
I said I would have felt like such an asshole if he called after that because I thought he was mucking.
What did you do? You said, wow.
I was just like wow, like, yeah, but I thought for sure he was letting go of the card. And he
I had a hand. I had queen jack card.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's like, well, no matter what he has, you're going to do.
Yeah, whatever.
No, I'm getting there with that.
It felt like you were getting there. It was forward motion with one card. Is that
No
a fold?
sweat.
I mean, it was.
You know, one thing's for certain, Phil. You know, after having watched Antonio a lot, he walks that border. He likes walking that border.
There were no points in
He enjoys it.
Have a look at the leaderboard. Blinds going up yet again, and of course, all eyes fixated on Jeff Gross right now, Phil Laak, because it's been so long since he's won a pot here in the first heat of Premier League Poker VII.
Wow, he's just trickled down. He really hasn't played a hand in so long, but he really hasn't had any hands to play. He's had spots and a few tough decisions.
It is nearly uncharted territory here, Premier League Poker VII. Heat number 1. We are six-handed, Phil Laak, going into 10 and 20,000 blinds.
It's crazy to be six-handed this deep.
Average chip stack 20 big blinds deep. I think it's fair to say that this is not going to be typical of the heats because the dynamics later on in the tournament will dictate a lot more aggressive play and extreme play. But right now, a lot of hanging on. Is it press and play right now? Is it just hit and hope, where there's going to be a lot of shoving going on?
I was gross thinking of doing something funny here on the button. Be interesting.
Well, it's an awkward stack size. God, it's 13 bigs. I mean, you'd have to shove if you did anything at all.
Call.
I think Antonio would have called.
Check.
Antonio flats, knowing that raising is worth the call. Look at this, 2 pair.
Huge flap for the Jungleman. These chips are not going to be coming back into Antonio's stack.
Seed 4 bet, 24,000.
So the question is historically, what we can predict is Jungle will only flat. Why? Because he has a monster. And Jungle flats with monsters. Now, this will obviously get out and change his brain up, but I don't think. But he also has that, I've been doing a lot of jiggly stuff.
Seed 5 raise, 58,000.
I don't know, man. He's maybe thinking I can go a little faster here because Antonio is probably fed up with me. And if Antonio has a queen, I'm getting it.
But the raise on the flop is sort of a polarizing bet from the Jungleman, right? I mean,
I'm trying to steal it to. And Antonio knows that. Antonio knows it could just be like King Jack.
Fold.
Jungle man, I want to be a jungle.
That's not a bad song.
I want to be
jungle.
a jungle man.
Antonio, when you were a kid, what were your hobbies? Went out into like having a good day, you know? Yeah, home talking to yourself.
Comic books for a couple years.
Now they're predicting
roller skating,
childhood hobbies.
I thought Antonio. I thought it was magic. I thought Antonio.
What was that?
I thought he was always a magician.
When he just like.
Or was that later?
Antonio was like I love women. But Antonio
picked up magic when he was
loves women.
17, I think.
I'm not saying that in a bad way.
Really? That's quite late.
You just love women.
He was much
you like them around. You like to talk to them.
Women. I thought he was like winning.
Well, yeah. I mean, come on.
You know who really loves women?
Women or winning?
Women. It's that guy over there.
Sorel McMizzi?
Sorel loves women.
44,000.
Yeah, like every other time I see you, you're like shirtless with
Now Antonio loves this hand. He's going with it to any resistance, I feel.
Sorel.
Does anyone have a hand?
I have a brother that looks a lot like
Seed 7 raise all in.
Sorel.
All in call.
Yeah.
It's pure hand power is just too strong.
Daniel Colman is at risk.
I'm like so at all ins. I'm pretty good at them.
It's really cool. Wow. Of course, it's the worst hand to meet up
against the world's best.
And Colman did this with ace rag before. This is where you want to have eights against ace rag.
You're a big dog, buddy.
Big flip for the Premier League.
Huge flip. 616 hanging out there.
Antonio's side.
Oh, wow. The butters. The only way Antonio could do it is the runner backdoor.
Smashed it.
Full house. He could get 8-8 or ace-8.
It's not happening.
Oh,
ace
300?
Wow.
He needs an ace or an 8.
He's got 4 live outs.
Yep.
He went from 0 to 4 live outs.
Did he do it?
Ooh. Oh, wow. The deuce.
He would have rather the 2 of hearts in the turn, of course, because that would open up a flush for him. That's a crippling blow for Antonio because,
this is why you're
you know, Colman had some chips there. He did.
Obviously, Antonio.
And now Esfandiari down to 133 is brutal.
Amazing.
Oh, wow. Colman, the wizard with sit and goes with the chip lead and position on the second stack, which is Jungle. Jungle has the second stack.
I'm not Jungleman sneaky. Like
the blinds are so high, guys.
He doesn't play.
He's not
There's 48,000 just to put in perspective.
Just like fast player.
That means Antonio can only look at like 4.5 orbits before he's broke. So you're going to see action. You're going to see activity.
Defend my 5-2.
Nowhere to breathe. Nowhere to hide. No room here. Playground Poker Club outside of Montreal, the premier poker club.
Seat 5 raise, 40,000
in all of Canada and perhaps greater North America.
Seat 7 raise, all in.
Wow. Wow,
this is
big decision for Koon here.
The real
now, how
Slim
should he
Shady.
think about
Please
this?
stand
now,
up.
Jungleman's raised. Coleman has re-raised all in.
Well, Koon loves this hand. I think with the stack sizes and the blinds and what they're at, he has to see 10s as ace, king, or kings. You know what I'm saying? I don't think a tight fold's warranted here. The absolute hand value is just so monster.
Think about it in terms of where he is right now. I think he's 4th in chips. There's 2 stacks below him right now. So he certainly, is there a ladder up mentality here? If he thinks there's a big percentage of the time,
I love how you pull out the devil's advocate stuff.
But what if he's
10s is too strong. It's an absolute.
He's calling.
Have ourselves a pot.
There is a new chip leader, ladies and gentlemen.
There is going to be a new chip leader. He's going to have over 1 million in chips.
I don't know if I want
Easy
it.
pass for Sorel Mizzi. Easy pass.
Yeah, this is
for
trivial.
Sorel.
I mean, he'd be stuck pedaling, and he can't even get. Yeah.
And I think an easy pass for Jungleman as well.
Jack's 10s?
And
I thought you
Coleman
had small
now
pair, right?
is
Like
in trouble.
6s or something?
Did Coleman, is he out on a limb here with the 5s? Was it with 4 players to act behind him, or 3 anyway?
Well, we were talking about that earlier. How much was it the original open for?
40, and he went all in for 600. With
Koonster will not be held down.
with Kate's having 600 too.
Yeah, it's sick by
I
500.
think maybe you can just flat, or it's that whole.
You know, Coleman, I mean, obviously
Coleman's
he knows
a genius.
what he's doing.
Yeah. Boom. Oh my God. I've never seen a guy take so many.
It's the second time.
Yeah.
And hold it. You said, what does it take for this guy to crack? He just cracked.
Koonster just can't run worse. Can't play better.
You said I can't win flips? Like the 82-18 variety?
I said he's left with chips at the end of the hand.
I guess I can still find my way out.
He's out.
He's out.
I'll take a 6.
He hit
would have got there.
I had a
6 or a 10.
Wow, he's
This
floored.
is insane.
He's really shook.
He can't believe it. It's very hard to lose 2 over pairs in a row.
Well, what is 18% squared? What is 18% squared? That's what he's just gotten hit by.
Wow. Good luck.
Boy. And Jason Koon. Wow.
How do I get out of this place?
If you need a hug, kid, we're here for you.
Got 3 more to win.
Holman, that was true hyper turbo style. He lumped it in with 5s
Nice play, sir.
and got there with quads. That's how you win $1 million.
It's 3 points for Jason as he heads into his next heat, but it seemed like you had almost cosmic bad luck here. Talk to me about how you kind of shake that off for the next one.
Yeah, I mean, it just happened 70 seconds ago, so I don't know if I've quite got over it yet. But, I mean, I made standard decisions both times. Got it in with him having 1 out for the chip lead, lost, came back. Got him in with it having 2 outs, lost. I don't know, really happy with my play. I ran some good bluffs. I picked off some bluffs. I did all I can do, so good thing we have some more shots at it. It's a cool structure. I knew, you know, if things like this happen, at least I have a chance to make a comeback and still win the thing. So that's all I can do.
I feel like all these 5 guys will still feel like they're well in this Premier League.
Yep.
300. Boy, Jason Koon, you know, he's gonna have to pump some serious iron to shake this off.
Wow, that is a serious beat. And then it was almost like the poker god decided to really just show him. By giving him, give the football quads like he needs it. Just to say whatever they're trying to say. And trust me, guys, the poker gods are
like
not connected. They're not paying attention. They have better things to do. They're probably surfing in Maui or something. You know, what do they have?
Like the space station.
They dance on graves. The poker gods dance on graves.
And it's like basically
C2 raise all in.
the middle of space. There was actually.
I mean, I don't think Gross found the right time to make.
It would have costed like more than all the money.
I think this is King 10's.
Wow. So this is small blind on big.
Yeah, I think that
he's getting called.
I think he might have to get called. I mean, 10 big blind.
No, I think they were.
He can. I think so. I think Antonio has to cry. Call this.
Wait, so like, did she start building here and they have like plans? We don't have enough money.
Do I know what I'm sweating, or is that not allowed?
We have a pretty decent hand. Pretty decent hand.
And this is one place where Antonio kind of excels, isn't it? I mean, he'll take his time to try and...
But he might be he might be sensitive to the point. If he folds, it's not... he's just trying to get points. You know what I'm saying?
But he is the short stack right now, and he'll be taking on the second shortest stack. So, isn't that the spot you want to take on? I mean, it's almost like
from right.
You know, it's better to call this guy than
what Jesse is saying is, Gross's range is hyper wide. You know, it should be hyper wide. So, William Chen would say that this is the time you have to call. King 10 is super trip call. Like,
I was thinking about it more like if Esfandiari doubles up through Colman, it's not like he gains 2 immediate points in equity. But if he doubles up through Gross, he basically takes those 2 points.
Correct.
I mean,
it's a tough spot because he really doesn't want to go out. He'd rather be doing the all-ins and getting the folds. But I think since Gross is already so much pressure against
I think I have to call you. So sick.
It's true.
55 plus 60 is
he
115.
makes really good decisions in these sort of spots, Antonio.
King high?
Wow, Jeff, you're right. But look at this, you know, Queen 4 is not
King
not
Jack,
dead.
King 10, exactly.
Not slow roll friends.
So I'm an old seasoned veteran pro, Miz. I'm thinking about folding, you know?
That's a taxi cab in Houston. People, if they see you folding there, you won't get invited to Houston.
I had one of those.
That's the taxi cab.
That's good for me.
That's good. Big flop for Jeff Gross. He might get out of this yet. He might get out of this yet.
Only having 20-odd%.
Will the door still be open? Are we going to have a connecting door?
Oh, nice hand.
10 would be interesting.
Good luck, boys and girls.
Oh, he's trying to get an extra 2%. He knows he's 13, but he's feeling he's 15 if he puts his shot.
Jungle, was a pleasure.
It's to get 2% by saying
pleasure, brother.
That's what this is. It's a move.
Nice hand, PBF.
Back in 1963 by
Mizzi, I love you.
Get Up Charlie is what they called him. He squoze out 2%, and he didn't
Later,
collect
guys.
the 2%. He didn't collect the 2%.
Get Up Charlie invented that move. 1963.
Yeah.
Amazing how things change.
I mean, his name was Charlie. They started calling him Get Up Charlie.
He gave me a little treatment.
Big smile from Jeff Gross. He was up, then he was all the way down, and now he's back.
It's 5 points for Antonio, and you seem to really be in the zone through much of this heat. I want to ask you about the short stack play. You had some really big decisions about, whether or not to call some short stack shoves. Was it different, your decision making, because of the point structure?
Yeah, you really don't want to bust out of there with little points, and so I think it's much more important to try and maximize your chances of getting like even second or third versus winning, just because you have to get the points. And there were some really close spots where I thought if I called and won, I would have a really good stack. But if I called and lost, then I gave up my chip stack. And so that's not something I wanted to do. So whatever, it was unfortunate. I lost a bunch of hands that I was all in, and that's just how it goes.
Esfandiari, who looked to have control early on in the heat, bows out in 5th place with 5 points. internet wizard Dan Colman now in charge with a huge chip lead from Jungleman, Jeff Gross, and Sorel Mizzi as we head toward the business end of Heat 1.
There is still plenty of action in this one as the competition for the remaining points intensifies. Join us next time for the conclusion of Heat 1 here at Party Poker's Premier League Season 7.
Anyone have any of our cards?
Insane.
I feel like you're a good guy no matter what.
Jeff, you lied to me.
That's like a ridiculous score.
Gotta keep you guessing over there a little.
There she is.